That's how it starts. All down. Yeah. The show. Runner and Gunner. You ready for this? All right. Do it. One more time. Monday morning cracks. And a cheers to you, Gunner.
And a cheers to you, Gunner.
And we are here, and this is a special. No, it's not. It's a regular edition, just like normal, but every edition is special. So we might as well call every edition special in our show, because every day is special. It's a special day to be breathing. Hello, welcome, and we're thankful that you're breathing
we're all
also.
thankful because we're all breathing. And
and every day is special, so that's why it's special.
And they can take breath and they can take a walk, as long as they're breathing and living, it's all good, That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah, and so today what we're going into is the same old things that we always do, which is talk about the greatest things in life. But one of the greatest things in life are the things that keep you entertained. And what keeps you more entertained than video games?
Video-rama games.
Video-rama? Are we going to get into
a video-rama
this episode? Well,
tell your mama.
We decided to tell your mamas that PS2 is the place to be this episode. So we're going to talk about some special PS2 games that we love to get into ourselves.
Gunner's actually going to go to Gunner's Corner and really tell you what he thinks about the PlayStation 2. I have not ever owned a PlayStation 2. But we'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah, let's talk about the ownership of it, because I have owned one, and I have a story about that old PlayStation that I actually did own, because, well, you'll hear it later in the story that we're going to tell.
Okay.
So, that's later in the show.
Have a great Monday morning. That's the theme of the show. That's the theme of the Runner and Gunner show.
Oh, yeah. And welcome, everybody.
Awesome.
Welcome to the Runner and Gunner show. Be awesome. Be amazing. And so, this episode, we're going to get into, like we said, PS2. Everybody, even if you never owned one, even if you never played on one, even if you never tried one before, we're going to give you an example of what it would be like to try it, or what type of ordeal of games that they had on this special console, and why it was so special. Why was it so special?
The producers are telling us something.
What's up? Yo.
Oh, we are not allowed to talk about Nintendo Switch on this episode.
God dang it. That was my next subject. What am I going to do now?
As much as Runner and Gunner and I would love to just talk about how much better the Nintendo Switch is than the PlayStation. Better pour, tomato.
Hey, hold on, we can't even do it. Sorry guys. Okay,
PlayStation 2 came out back to 2001.
2001. Man, some of you were not even born at that time.
And I always knew that it was awesome
at that time,
because I said, hey, it is awesome. Look at it.
Just take a little gander at it, peek at it. And Gunner, by the way, where did this song come from?
Let's play a little song from Silent Hill 3 on PlayStation 2.
Silent Hill 3.
This is it. This is a Silent Hill 3 song.
Listen to the production. It's not too bad, to be honest. I mean, good job. Good job, the guys who created this, the producers of this type of music.
Sounds like Stone Temple Pilots.
Pretty cool. They were with the times. But now, my question is, are video games now? I mean, I'm not going to go to now's video games anyways. But it's just a quick question. Are the video games now relevant to the times of the music? Is what I wonder, because that Silent Hill song was relevant to the times of the music.
So you're saying like Cardi B's inspiring video games nowadays?
I hope not. But if she is, I mean, hey, why not play a Stripogram or something like that? That would be a good video game.
Harry Styles is inspiring these video games that are coming out these days.
Why not play Harry, whatever you're going to play. Yeah, of course. Of course. If he has some good styles, then I would play it. But if not, then...
Because I could definitely see, like, Stained and Linkin Park inspiring that song.
Yeah, oh yeah. Eminem, STP, like you said. But this was like
STP.
It was back in, Eminem.
2000.
Maybe a little bit of 50 Cent in there.
2003.
A little bit of everything. It had a little bit of everything. Just a little mixture of everything that was going around. And at the same time, scary movies. It had a little bit of scary productive movies that were pretty good in the early 2000s into mid 2000s. So we're saying...
This song right here is from Tenchu Not the PlayStation 1 version, but the PlayStation 2
That was
version.
a cool game. I remember Tenchu that you would creep up on people and you would slice them apart.
It was like the first
ninja. Oh, yeah, that was
like
a great one.
Sneak mechanic in a video
sneak
game.
Up, and then you just sneak and slice. He was like a super...
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, well, yeah, Metal Gear Solid was a little bit before.
Which also came out on the PlayStation 2.
Metal Gear 2, actually. Metal Gear Solid 2.
Metal
Because
Gear
part 1 was in
2.
PS1, but part 2 was... And 3.
The best ones of them all.
My favorite one was actually part 3, Snake Eater. If you remember that, because you would lose health and you would have to eat snakes
Snake
and
Eater
rats.
came out for PlayStation 3.
But it also came out in 2, did it? Oh, no, maybe not, huh? Maybe I'm mistaken.
Patriots of Liberty or whatever. That one came out for
part 2. Part 2. And in that one...
It was even better.
That one was good. Yeah, that was the one where you played as 2 different characters, correct? Yeah, you played as Raiden and you played as Snake. So Raiden was a cool character who would go around. He was doing the same kind of stuff that
he would do the same stuff that Snake does.
Snake did,
except for he did it like Tenchu. It was like more like Tenchu than Tenchu was. You know, it was like the ultimate Tenchu game.
As a matter of fact, this sounds kind of familiar to Is this it? Is this
That is Tenchu.
It sounds very familiar, honestly, to the same music as on Metal Gear. Honestly, it's pretty similar.
All PlayStation 2 video games had like an equal sound. You know, they all had an equal sound.
Very similarities. Yeah,
it was that HD, digital quality. All the music was made the same way for the systems, and that's the one thing that PlayStation does is they gather little information and they like hold it down like a diamond, and then they spread it all around so that it helps everyone, and they all successfully get created. And much like Nintendo does with its video games, you know, except for they got like Mario. They're a little more prominent with their.
I mean, they of course stepped up their game by now. But the music, like you were saying, the similarities are there.
Link.
Even when it comes to their little side games, like when they had the Wario and they had. Wait, we can't talk about us. Okay. Sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah. PlayStation had Crash. It had Metal Gear Solid.
Crash Bandicoot.
It had Tenchu. Tenchu is actually a very good mascot.
Didn't they even throw in a couple Sonic games in there?
Sonic helped.
Unleashed.
Sonic helped the PlayStation 2.
And they had Sonic. They had regular Sonic. So, I mean, they were there. They were there for many.
This song is from a little game that I like to call Sunai. If you ever played Sunai, which is TSUGUNAI, it's a good game. This is PlayStation 2. See, you could see the sounds kind of all sound similar. It's like the same little synthesizer effect, little glass notes, a little whistle. But that's what they did. And they created many video games. This is just one of many of the beautiful songs that came out of PlayStation 2. They had very beautiful songs in the whole equality of the entirety of the system. They also had games like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I mean, we're on the subject of Metal Gear Solid. They had Siphon Filter. They had Splinter Cell. They had Hitman. Those were all very valid Sneak games, which were delivered from the presence of Tenchu, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the very first video game to use stealth.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, early on in the show, I want to get down to my favorite PlayStation 2 game that I love the most. And so this is it.
GTA series, everybody. If you know it out there,
honk your horn. Yeah, honk it. Come on.
Ladies.
Who didn't love this song? I mean, this was dedicated off of that 90s gangster rap stuff. Hey, I love that stuff. If you don't love it, shove it. Because it was the good stuff. Let's give it a little listen. Cheers.
Yeah. Honk your horn if you know this song. Ladies.
Ladies, show your daddy. Ta-ta. And never say ta-ta to a good game.
PlayStation delivered us San Andreas, Vice City, and GTA 3, which was the first one to come out. But GTA 3, I remember when GTA was on PlayStation 1, and it was a little up-top view. You drive around in this little remote control car, and you can get out, get guns, and kill people. You get back in your car, run people over, complete missions that way. And PlayStation 2 brought it to the 3D world.
The 3D world.
The very first system
everything.
To ever bring a game from successfully to like 2D up top image to 3D, the same exact thing.
The producer getting mad at me, but I know The 64 could have did the same thing. It had the potential. It was almost there.
It would have been better.
All right. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, they would have stepped up one more.
Talk about that again.
Okay.
We'll have to cut to
a commercial
break.
Yeah, they don't want to chop us off. Yeah, don't chop us off. Okay, all right. Anyway, so GTA, yeah, GTA was great. Vice City, amazing game. But for me, it was San Andreas. I mean the
accumulation of them all.
My top favorite game in the PlayStation 2. I'm saying it early on during the show. I'm just gonna give it the audience the truth. And for me, PlayStation 2, San Andreas, favorite game, not of all time, but on that system. Kick some butt. And I know for a lot of you out there who haven't played it are saying, what the heck is wrong with this guy? There's so many other potential, or is so many PlayStation 2 games that are way better than that. But you just haven't played it all the way through. It has a great storyline, and it has it's very violent. If you don't like violent games, of course you're going to hate it.
Yeah.
But
it's
if
also
you
like Manhunt, which is also a Rockstar game.
And it's very tactical as well. You got to use your brain, and you got to figure out things. Kind of like in in Metal Gear Solid. You got to use your brain as well. So you got to use your brain. It's not just shoot. You got to go do things
like Metal Gear Solid.
Mm-hmm.
GTA and 3 and Metal Gear Solid 2 have lots of similarities.
Very similar. Rockstar's props. Oh, what about another Rockstar game that we call Bully? What about Bully?
What about Bully? How come everybody forgot about Bully?
Bully.
Just make that game again.
Bully,
we want to play it. We definitely want to play it on PlayStation 5. It should have been out for PlayStation 4, but who knows? They might be working on it. Maybe it took a lot out of them to make a game like that. Acquiring rights from colleges. I don't know. Who wants to deal with colleges people?
Yeah, it's
because
true.
They're smarter than you.
Yeah, it's true. I think
I don't know what the story behind Bully is.
High school? He might have been high school actually.
We'll post it on Instagram. Sure. Who knows what happened to Bully?
He was like a troublemaker or something. Then they kicked him out of public school, so he had to go to like a special academy, which is where he ended up. But I'm not sure in the part of college or public high school. I'm not sure what it is. Whatever kind of academy. It might have even been a juvenile.
It was private high school.
Okay. So what happens, he ends up fighting the bullies. He ends up being a good guy.
Oh, incidentally, this song is from a song called Tales of Rebirth.
Tales
for PlayStation
from the
2.
Rebirth.
You remember that game? Tales of Rebirth Part 2 on the PlayStation 2. Then you might be cool.
Yep.
Easy
you might be
cool. Bully. Grand Theft Auto 3.
Oh, yeah.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Oh, yeah.
Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Manhunt.
Oh, man.
Red Dead Redemption Part 1.
The original Red Dead. Oh, what about Gun? Gun was also a good hidden little game that was just like Red Dead Redemption. You're in the Wild West. You get guns and you shoot people.
Yeah.
And it's an open world thing too. Open source, open world. So if you have a PlayStation, or if there's any way you can play PlayStation, look up that game as well. It's a hidden gem is what they call them. A hidden beneath the sources of the underground PlayStation world.
There was a secret game that I like to call, recall. It was called Bouncer.
Bouncer.
It was kind of just to beat 'em up. It was one player though, which kind of annoyed me because I wanted to play with my brothers.
So it was like Streets of Rage, kind of?
But it was Streets of Rage, one player.
Oh, okay.
Imagine?
That's
still
pretty
dope,
cool.
Right?
Yes, of course.
And so you go around, you'd sock people up and throw them against the environment. It was dope, but they didn't pursue that kind of game. And it was kind of like Drake, Uncharted of nowadays.
Drake!
But much better for way back then. So, if the progression of that game would have continued, we might have had some fine video games. Oh, hold on.
Oh, man.
Telling us we can't slander anything of PlayStation.
So were all the Uncharted games on
Sony.
PS3? Or was there any Uncharted games?
I think you're great.
That came Was there any Uncharted games that came out on PS2 is the question. Because
that I do not know.
There might have been one at least.
But WWE SmackDown series for the PlayStation 2 was till this date still better than all of them. And if that game was online back then, let me tell you, we would have had a lot of fun. WWE, SmackDown, WWE.
Naughty Dog did have a game, Uncharted.
SmackDown.
Uncharted Drake's Fortune came out in 2007. And so Uncharted was actually on the PS2, and that is a great game. That one is one of those games
what
where
was that? Tell us again.
Uncharted Drake's Fortune. I think that's the first one. The first one ever.
Was on PlayStation 2. There it is.
That's PS3.
Wait a second.
So, but that's part 2. That's part 2 though. But they say part 1 was on PS2, 3. So they're lying to us. Wait a minute, but they could have got it on PS2.
It's a PS3 game.
You know, I think it was a PS3 game specifically. Yeah, it was only PS3. Yeah. So Uncharted did not come out on PS2.
It just missed the cut.
It just missed it. Yeah.
But this game, Bouncer, was kind of like that. Mm-hmm. In terms of like you could beat people up with your fists and throw them against the environment. And it had a lot about that, but it was a little more like Final Fantasy characters. In Final Fantasy guys from PlayStation 1, it kind of moved like that. If you remember guys, Namco, guys, or Squaresoft, the same people who made Final Fantasy made a game called guys.
guys.
And this game Bouncer was kind of like that, but a one-player story version of that. Anyways, Ninja Gaiden also came out for PlayStation 2.
Ninja Gaiden.
One
of my other favorite games was NBA Street Volume 2.
That
Volume
was my favorite game also.
Yeah, Volume 1 was cool, but Volume 2 is the one I liked even more.
Me
too. You remember that? And then they had the special dunks and the power-ups.
I love that game.
Yeah, that was a great game. I used to play that game a lot.
And it came out for GameCube, and you could be Mario and... man.
All right. Sorry, guys. Now, in order to pay our royalties back to what we just said, we have to take a quick one.
Break.
So we'll continue the PlayStation 2 conversation, the video games about one of the greatest PlayStations to ever come out. But we will be back and give you lots more after these commercial breaks.
Sony Playstation 2 is awesome and is brought to you by Awesomeness.
What about GameCube? And finally, the unreleased PS2 game, OJ's Football Simpson.
Hey guys, go for a pass.
When he puts it up, shanked it. Next time he'll make it.
I don't want to have to kick your head off.
So the greatest game ever released or unreleased on PS2, OJ Simpson's Football.
The juice got what it takes.
Will you be the juice? Will you make the hits? Will you make the cuts?
Remember, you better respect the man.
OJ Simpson Football, exclusively for PlayStation 2.
Super state-of-the-art game.
Original gangster.
Monday morning sips, everybody.
And we'd like to thank our sponsors out there in OJ Land.
Yes, we'd like to thank you all for the unreleased game.
Yeah, you guys got to look
Simpson.
it up. Go look it up. Go find it. It's out there. It's very hard to find.
You see, because OJ was going to make a game for the PlayStation 2.
Some kind of issue happened with there was a Bronco or something.
Anyways, everybody, it's Monday morning. We want to tell you to have a good time. We want to tell you to pay attention to the traffic. Put your hands on the steering wheel. Just listen to us. Let us take care of everything. Don't touch your phone. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Have a good Monday.
Have a
good
safe
week.
drive.
Whatever day it is. Have a good week.
And
change your mindset right now to something good.
Positive.
Put it in positive. We're talking about PlayStation 2, your favorite console ever made. And we want to also tell you and remind you that it's the new year. Hopefully you're doing well in your New Year's resolutions. Hopefully you and your family are doing well. Hopefully because you forgave each other during the holidays.
Yeah.
That now you have something to talk about with each other.
Yeah, renewed everything.
Renewed life. Renewed
Start
living.
all over. Getting
it's
things
2023,
great.
post-COVID. God bless you, everybody. It is Monday morning. Have yourself a Monday morning sip. Oh, wait, you can't because you're working.
Don't sip yet. Maybe after work if you want to.
Wait till Saturday or don't sip at all. Yeah. Whatever it is, drink water, have yourself a turkey leg.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat or makes you feel better.
Weekdays.
Better.
It makes no difference because Monday is always the same. Great day. The hardest day of the week. So if you could transform your Monday to make it good, then you can have a great life.
And that is forever. And so we are here to make your lives greater as well. So back to this PS2 thing or deal, we're going to get into Def Jam's greatest game that they ever made, which is called
Fight for New York.
And New York is the birthplace, as the hip-hop heads know, that is the birthplace of hip-hop and rap. And whatever you want to call it, gangster rap, whatever. It just started in New York. They started with breakdancing, and then it just became a graffiti and breakdancing thing, and then it turned into a big hip-hop thing and partying, and then it turned into just rap and just getting down. And then eventually, they had to drink a lot of liquor, and eventually, they had to fight for New York. Fight for who is on top. And that's why the game was created. And so this game consists of many
he's not in the game.
different hip-hop heads. I mean, a lot of different hip-hop artists.
They all killed each other, and
and so nobody ended up being
Jay-Z
on top.
won.
So Jay-Z won because he wasn't in that game.
Yeah.
I don't think, was he? No.
He stayed away.
Maybe
he wasn't big enough,
he had
actually.
a special code.
But Busta Rhymes was in that game. Snoop Dogg was in that game.
Snoop Dogg. I think Method Man was in it.
Method Man was in it.
Yeah.
Exhibit, right?
Exhibit was in it. Exhibit.
Dr. Dre, unfortunately, was not in it.
Dr. Dre was not in it. Eminem was not in it.
Just barely missed the cut.
And Tupac and Biggie Smalls not in it as well. Because they didn't, they weren't around. They weren't around.
Fat Joe was in it.
Fat Joe was bad. He was a tough character to beat as well.
Fat Joe was in it.
But they should have had, in my opinion, they should have had more Wu-Tang characters in there because Wu-Tang had a big old army of guys.
And they made video games.
Yeah, and plus they made video games prior to that. They were on PS1. In PS1 they made a dope one. But this is PS2 we're talking about.
Video game making game.
One of my favorite PS1 games was Wu-Tang game. But besides that, there was a lot of characters, a lot of playable characters, and some unlockable characters that were tough to unlock in Def Jam's Fight for New York game. And this is a great game, okay, everybody? You got it. It's kind of a mixture of Street Fighter meets Mortal Kombat meets hip-hop. And if you mix all that together, you get this great record of kicking butt. And what happens when you actually beat the game? Gunnar, have you ever actually beat this game? And I want to know the title ending.
Yeah, so basically when you beat the game, you beat Snoop Dogg. He's the head guy.
Oh, is he?
And so you got to fight Snoop Dogg and unlock Snoop Dogg.
You know what kind of
and you throw him out a window and he dies.
It's a little confusing because Fight for New York I would have thought somebody from New York, but Snoop Dogg is from Long Beach, which is very close to LA, Los Angeles, where we're from, California. And so, I mean, it's right down the street. We're all connected. And so I'm glad that they ended it with a Snoop Dogg thing, because that's pretty cool. Fight for New York ended with the West Coast guy. But it was probably somebody from the East Coast anyway. New York, respect to you guys, and we love New York. We can't wait to go out there and show the Runner Gunner love. And so that's one of your greatest games ever created. Besides, Liberty City is pretty cool as well. It's not on the PS2, but it's a great game. I'm just going to throw that out there.
It's a great game.
And so
the Def Jam Fight for New York for the PlayStation 2. It's a great game.
Get it. If you never got it, get it now.
And now's the time where we ask Runner if he knows any of these East Coast players in video games.
Okay.
Baby Chris.
Yep.
Bubba Sparks.
Yes, I do.
Busta Rhymes.
Oh, yeah.
Carmen Electra.
Oh, yeah, she was a hottie.
Chang.
Yeah, Ching, yeah.
Cindy J.
No, I'm sorry.
D-Mob.
Yeah, heard of him.
Danny Trejo.
Oh, heck yeah. He's from the West Coast.
Fat Joe.
Of course.
Flava Flav.
Flava Flav.
Freeway.
Freeway. Yep, Freeway Rick.
Henry Rollins.
Henry, yeah, we know him.
Ice-T.
Oh, heck yeah, West Coast again.
Little Kim.
Oh, yeah, Biggie's homegirl.
Ludacris.
Oh, heck yeah, who doesn't know him?
Mac
Luda.
10.
Mac 10 for life, he's another one. West Coast.
Memphis Bleak.
Memphis Bleak, yeah, he's pretty good too.
N-O-R-E.
Noriega. Nori.
Omar Epps.
he's not a rapper.
Redman.
Redman kicks butt. Bad props.
Sean Paul.
Yeah, we know Sean Paul. Yep.
Santos.
Yep. Santos kicks butt too.
Slick Rick.
Slick Rick, a classic hip hop character right there. Tech, another great one.
Warren G.
Oh man, West Coast funk creator.
Exhibit.
X to the Z. Yeah, we do. He sings a song called Blank Please. And yeah, we know most of these guys on this list. Dang, that was a lot of good characters.
Yeah, there was plenty more.
Loaded up, but those are the non-secret characters. Those are just the original ones. And so that's a good list. Wow.
So, those are some musical top chart people right there. They topped the charts. Everyone.
And not only was it only rappers, I heard some actors, a few actors in there, comedians in there.
A punk rocker.
Yeah, I heard just different. I guess it's
Omar
just
Epps.
how cool you are and what you did for the hip hop industry. Then they'll throw you in there. You know what?
What an incredible game!
It sounds like
and
a great game.
And
you
recreated.
guys, they should have. It should be remastered now. Look at anybody who's out there who's not a Lenny. Get out there. Get on your freaking cyber world and
Lil
recreate it.
Nas X.
Well,
Nas X versus Nicki Minaj. That's what they would have. It'd be a girl game. You could have all the girls in it.
Throw a bunch of.
It'd be dope. Call it Catfight.
I don't know if I play that or I already play Powerpuff. Catfight.
For all the gender equality people, we could have
Cat fight.
Fight for New York, Def Jam, girls only cat fight. It could be called cat fight. It'd be like Lil' Kim versus Cardi B.
Graphic designers.
Christina Aguilera could be in there. Katy Perry could be in there.
Madonna, and then
Madonna's the queen.
No, the leader would
The
be
head game.
at the end. At the end, you have to fight Cher. She's the leader, and you got to beat up Cher.
So
and
you
if you
beat up
do,
Beyonce,
then you're the
and after you beat
queen
up
or
Beyonce,
king.
you go through the door and you got to fight Cher.
You got to fight who'd you say?
Beyonce, first it's
Beyonce
Cher,
and
then it's Beyonce, then Madonna.
Beyonce and Madonna will be double team. You have to beat both of them to get to Cher.
Yeah.
If you double team, you got to beat both of them.
Oh.
And then Cher would be like the hardest character of all. You got to be a master of.
And we could throw in all the new Lennies too, like Carmen Dove or whatever her name is.
Yeah, Dove man.
Dove put
Duff man.
Ariana Grande in it.
She'd be in there, but she'd be in the lower levels because she's not.
It's Britney
Not
Spears
super duper.
could be in it.
Britney Spears could be in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that could be in it.
The thing is, like, if you were to make a game that great, it would not ever equal to the mechanics of the Def Jam Fight for New York video game.
Of the Def Jam games. But the Def Jam, well, they didn't have two. They only had two. They actually had a PSP version as well.
Def Jam
there was
Vendetta.
a PlayStation Portable. They had part 2. You're right. And part 2. So they had... PlayStation Portable had Def Jam as well, but then they had the Vendetta, which also dropped on the PlayStation 2.
Both PlayStation 2 games. Fight for New York and Def Jam Vendetta. Vendetta was good. It was in a wrestling ring, though.
Vendetta. Oh, that is cool.
That game was the sequel, the true sequel to WWF No Mercy.
No Mercy.
N64. Oh, man, the producer
don't say
kind
it.
of short.
Don't say it. See?
What I meant was the game, the people who made Def Jam Vendetta are the same people who made the WCW Nitro for the PlayStation 1.
PS numero uno.
It was called PlayStation Nitro. It was one of those games, one of those early games with Sting. They made that game. The same people who made that game made Def Jam Vendetta. And then from Def Jam Vendetta, they went to Def Jam Fight for New York, which had all those characters that I just mentioned and so much more. Many. The mechanics of the game are just brilliant. A game like that hasn't been done such yet and since, and maybe not AEW, the same people who made Def Jam Fight for New York are making a new game for the PlayStation 5 called AEW.
Wow.
Live or Let Die.
It's going to be amazing. That sounds like it's going to be a good title. It's going to be a good title.
Something like that.
Okay, so a game that we haven't talked about yet, which we got to get to, we must get to, is another Rockstar great classic, one of the best, Manhunt. We haven't brought up Manhunt. Manhunt is one of the best and most violent games of all time.
Oh, wait, but before that, let's give a few short shout-outs to I'll pick a game and you pick a game of games that we can remember by Runner and Gunner. My first game is Street Fighter. All the Street Fighters that came out for PlayStation 2. And Madden. What about Madden?
What about Madden?
All the NBA 2Ks that came out.
All the NBAs.
NBA Showtime, NBA The Show, The Biz, whatever. All
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil.
Yeah. Another great classic that we haven't talked about.
Resident Evil is another great classic. All the Resident Evil.
Time Splitters. Time Splitters is pretty good. That was another shoot 'em up game.
Remember that game?
Yeah, that was a cool one. Twisted Metal
Black.
Yeah,
the greatest Twisted Metal
that was
ever.
A great game too. Twisted
and
Metal
then
Black.
The intro had the Rolling Stones on it. Remember?
Yeah.
I see your door and I wanted.
Man, what a great intro, right? See, they knew what was up with rock and roll even back then. I mean, they were ahead of their time, which when it came to picking soundtracks for their games. See, because the soundtracks the new age games haven't even did that. They haven't even got that for all the Final Fantasies. All of the Final Fantasies on PS2, we haven't brought them up, or maybe we did. But what about one of the greatest games that is supposed to be remade this year, Fight Night? Fight Night, I think first appeared in PS2, actually. And then PS3 did carry it on, and they had a few titles of Fight Night. But Fight Night is a game that Runner and Gunner do play, but we play it on the PS3. But there's a new edition coming out this year,
Fight Night.
In 2023.
Boxing, we play it all the time.
Yeah, boxing.
It originally came out for PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
What about Gran Turismo?
Oh yeah, Gran
The
Turismo.
greatest Gran Turismo ever.
Yep,
still,
that one was amazing.
Ask fans. They're still playing Gran Turismo 2, building their character, working on their character.
Yeah, just getting better and better.
Getting better and great. The Star Wars games that came out for PlayStation 2.
All the Star Wars. So many Star Wars games.
Pod Racers, all of them.
Yeah, the racing one, but the Battlefront one was really good. That's when they first brought
God of War.
Oh, the God of War. Oh man,
it came out for PlayStation.
It was 2.
The original came out for PlayStation 2.
Wow, I didn't even know that. God of War, man.
Lord of the Rings video games on PlayStation 2 were so good, especially Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, or Lord of the Rings, the movie Part 2.
The video game
was the greatest video game ever made. If you don't believe me, go ahead and get it on your little emulators and play PlayStation 2 version of Lord of the Rings, the movie Part 2. It is so good. Spider-Man.
We haven't even brought up the Guitar Hero games.
Guitar Hero.
That was one of the greatest right there. Guitar Hero.
The greatest. Remember the drums?
Probably undisputed. Yeah. And when it came to any kind of musical, because they used to have DJ games where you'd have to pick the little pixels, and it was rough. It was hard to ever create any kind of beat in any kind of music game.
Did you ever have any cousins who brought over all the equipment so you all jammed out?
Oh yeah. But I went to a cousin's house and we did it. Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
And it was so fun. It was different.
Me too.
It was a different experience because you're used to just playing with the control.
Yeah.
You didn't know you could hook up drums, you could hook up guitars, you could hook up microphones to the whole setup of a PlayStation, and that was pretty amazing.
That is
pretty amazing. That was ahead of technology, actually. That was a technology, and I don't understand why it's not a bigger technology burst than it actually was. It should have been a bigger thing. It should have carried on with that and made it something more.
The sales should speak for themselves. Oh, it's too hard to do. That's why.
It's too hard to do.
It's
a lot of money. There's a lot of
all the marketing,
and then
too.
the marketing,
the Beatles,
and then you got the Beatles. But that was PS3.
That was the PS3 version.
The Beatles, yeah, the Beatles.
Okay.
But the PS2 were the original Rockstar, and they still had to get those songs, and you got to copyright, you got to get the licensing,
and they
cost
so
much money.
Japan hits and American hits and German hits.
Even with all that said, the thing is, PlayStation can afford it. Sony can afford to do these things.
Yeah, they sell.
But they
CD
just
players.
didn't want to carry on with it. Yeah, they sold everything.
Now MP3
yeah, and now they're cornered. They have the market cornered, to be honest, because they have it going on. But there's a little company
and they
called
also own Spider-Man.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Oh,
I almost said it.
Runner.
I almost said it.
We're going to have to go to a commercial break next time. Spider-Man.
Right,
Sony owns Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Sony owns Venom. Sony. Spider-Man. Sony. Money.
Oh, so is that the one with the
video game for PlayStation 2 is better than the video game for PlayStation 5. It's better than the video game for PlayStation 6. Gunner prediction, because they just don't know how to make a game as great as the Spider-Man the movie video game.
Oh yeah, that was with the Toby Bryant or whatever his name is.
God of War. We got SmackDown versus
Hit and
Raw.
Run, The Simpsons. You remember that one? Oh man, that was a good one.
We got Kingdom Hearts.
I used to play the game Medal of Honor.
Medal of Honor came out for PlayStation 2.
I used to play that game. Yeah, I played it. I actually liked that game.
This is the theme of PlayStation 2. Ratchet and Clank. That was their spokesperson. That was their mascot. He was pretty much Crash Bandicoot.
You want to know what's crazy? I actually owned a PS2 as well, but this has nothing to do with Ratchet and Clank. It's a great game, and I love that game. But what's crazy is that they had I got a hold of this Japan disc, and it was one of my favorite games of all time. It was Contra. I forgot what Shattered something.
On the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 2 remaster of Contra.
It was PS2 Contra. That if you guys, anybody out there has a chance to play that game, it is super awesome. If you like Contra, if you're a fan of Contra, look up that game. PS2 Contra. I think it's called Shattered something. I forget what it's called. It's an amazing game. You could switch guns. You don't have to discover guns like how you used to.
Switching guns.
You just already come equipped with guns and bombs. A certain amount of bombs, certain amount of guns, and you just shoot everything, and everything's automatic.
What are the head guys like?
You used to have to push.
What are the head guys like?
They are great. They still have the high jumps.
You remember
They
any
still
of them?
have the leaders. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the Contra's always got a head guy at the end of the level.
Oh, okay. There was a big ugly turtle. There was a big ugly turtle thing, and then you shoot it in the face. You
well,
kill
let's
it.
sip.
So
let's sip to that. Everybody, take a sip.
Like I said, Contra is one of the great ones.
It's Monday, and Runner and Gunner are sipping for you.
Sipping for
so
you.
that you don't have to sip. But you can come around the lightning with us. And
just enjoy yourselves out there. Yeah,
on a Monday morning. Because we're living like it's Saturday night on a Monday morning. But really, on Saturday night, we were at work. So, you know. Our days are different than your days. So let this Monday morning be yours is what we're saying.
Yeah, we're trying to give you the Mondays that you need.
There is so much more.
Saturday that you need.
This is the Saturday that you need. And we want to tell you
on a beautiful Monday
that your Monday morning is the Saturday that you need. That's what we provide. We provide the Saturday that you need on a Monday morning.
Monday morning. Heck yeah.
Every Monday morning.
Yes.
Once again, that is the Runner and Gunner Show provides the Saturday that you need on a Monday morning.
And we just want you guys to enjoy the whole week. We're here for you guys. We're giving you this information. Just we do this information. We do this. We look and we investigate upon what we're talking about, just so we could drop this information for you guys to give you guys the benefits in life. And we want to give our opinions to you, and we want your opinions to count as well. So if you want to drop your opinions, you know where to get at us. You know where to get at us on our Instagram and our email as well.
MLB video games for the PlayStation 2.
MLB video games
were great. They were pretty great.
Amazing. Wait, did they have Slugfest? Do you remember Slugfest? I think they have Slugfest.
I don't remember, but they had MLB The Show back on PlayStation 2.
That was the original show. Did they have? I think they had Slugfest. Slugfest was a game. It was like Blitz.
Oh, Ready to Rumble.
It was like
PlayStation 2. Taxi.
They did have Slugfest. So Slugfest on PS2 was MLB, but it was like Blitz. So what you could do, it was like an arcade style game, and you could punch. You could go up to the pitcher.
How come we don't have that game no more?
They need to remake it. It was a crazy, insane game, and Slugfest was one of the classics. Look it up also. So you guys just got to get down with it.
We are playing a game from a game called Auto Modelista.
And as a matter of fact, Slugfest was made by Midway, who made Blitz.
Slugfest for PlayStation 2
was created.
I kind of remember it too.
It was created by the same guys who created Blitz.
How come that game went away? What is the reason that game went away?
Violence and on the
critic
side, we call it
Last of Us and Uncharted.
You see, on the critic side, we call it nonsense. But on the positive side, violence isn't. It's not like, okay, unless the parents aren't doing their jobs and teaching their kids that this is only a video game, it's fake, it's for entertainment purposes, which every parent should do. The critics are full of nonsense.
I get
it. What I'm saying. That's the parents' job is to teach these kids, and then they try and blame anything on video games, music,
Some people
media.
Get away with things that other people don't. And that reminds us to tell you, the listeners out there, that the Runner and Gunner
show.
We know that you gotta be smooth.
Smooth with it.
You gotta have a quick mind.
Quick equipped mind.
Your tongue's gotta say the correct things.
Correction.
Because charm can get you anywhere in life. Anywhere in life.
So far.
Right.
Far.
Back to the game.
Somewhere over the rim.
So this song is from a song called Monster Hunters 2 on the PlayStation 2.
Hunty Hunts. Who else remembers Monster Hunters 2? Oh, yeah, you do. Right on.
You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Monster Hunters. Good one. Another good one. See, man, we are going to miss a lot of games. Either way, no matter what we say, we are going to miss a lot of games, a lot of people's favorites, a lot of popular ones. Yeah, Mortal Kombat, Armageddon it was called. There was a big Mortal Kombat one. This was the first one where it would turn into like storylines and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and
Tekken, Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive. Oh man.
Not to mention smaller games like Bubble Bobble, which were huge on PlayStation.
And they used to have a bunch of little like arcade classic remakes. And what about what's it called? Altered Beast. Altered Beast. You remember that one? Yeah, Altered Beast, the remake. They remade it.
This song is from a song.
That sounds really cool.
Tagaku no Chi.
That sounds really
True
cool.
Blood.
That sounds awesome, actually. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that.
I played a PlayStation 2 and I didn't like it. I said, "What's up with this? It ain't like it for the industry to turn to this. But then it grew on me. They gave me the controller and all three. And I gave one to my friends, and we each had one, and we delivered to all ends. And I knew that it was just as great as everybody spoke. But even though underneath my skin I choked, I said, I don't want to believe that the PlayStation 2 is good because I want Nintendo 64.
Oh, yeah. Don't say it again.
You could have everything that you want twice because everything that you want is all battled on top of each other and they just keep things growing until the peak comes twice. You could have it all over each other and keep rolling all over, rolling all up, keep on going. You know that it's just something that we all like to get together and trust. I know that we all like getting together and having a good fun time.
Having a good fun time. Having a good fun time. Having a good time.
Show no despair.
Have a good time. Having a good fun time. We're having a good fun time. Funky.
Everybody, it's the Runner and Gunner Show. My bad. We got a little sippy right there. But we want to tell you that it is the end of the show.
The end of the show.
And we want to tell you that this might have to be continued next week. Because
we might have to just go back and dig into the
PlayStation
PS2 vault. Because there's so many games that we forgot and we left out. We're not about to talk about the ones we left out because the ones we left out were actually amazing. There's so many award-winning games and we're sorry if we left your favorite game out. But you know what you guys could do for us?
Kiss butt.
You could kiss your own butts. And you could also email us.
Kiss our
or
butts.
You could Instagram us. Or you could kiss our butts. Either one. Because you guys could just, shoot. We did the best we could do of these PS2 games. And there's so many more out there. We know that. But
Grand Theft Auto being by far
the greatest PS2 game.
Greatest achievement in video game. And it was a little vulgar. I wish they would have cut down on that vulgarness and focused on what the game was, which was a game that had many missions, hundreds of missions. Different, all
and
unique.
The cool thing is, it was the first really open source game where you could just, you don't have to play the missions if you don't want to.
Yeah.
You can just drive around all day.
Yeah.
You could play taxi. You could play ambulance. You could do cop missions. You could do pizza delivery missions. You could do whatever you wanted.
On San Andreas, it was the accumulation because it was so dope that you didn't have enough money to buy everything in the game.
Yeah.
After a certain amount of hours of playing it.
Yeah.
Like you could play for days unless you have a cheat code. You can get a cheat code. There was cheat codes.
Yeah, there is a lot of them. And it was not as easy to access now as it was then. But
when the game first got released and you had to buy the cartridge.
Yeah, the cartridge, yeah.
And you open it up and there was a CD
Oh, nice and shiny.
And you put that CD. I think there was...
And it played so smooth.
One CD. One CD.
Yeah, San Andreas was just one CD.
When you put it in, and let me tell you, like, if you earned money on this game, it was just such a good game.
Yeah, it was
nice. It made you want to earn money.
It did.
And so you could kill, you could pillage, you could, rob.
You could rob.
Steal cars
He could work out. He could get fat. He could do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He could get skinny. He could become a championship swimmer like Michael Phelps if you wanted to just dive in the water and swim around. You could be
gain abilities.
He could learn karate in that one and boxing.
Different types of karate.
So much stuff. You could be an aviator. You could be able to airplane fly. You could be the master airplane guy.
You get your airplane license.
You get airplane license. You can fly airplanes. You could be a limo driver. I mean, the limits were unlimited. There was no limited.
Policeman.
It was unlimited. No possibilities that you could not.
Truck driver.
Do. Yeah. Yep.
Incidentally, these were all taken away from the GTA 4 and GTA 5.
They shouldn't have did that.
What is the reason? No one knows.
Nobody knows. But
everything that we just said in the last minute was taken away from PlayStation
4. Well, from GTA 4,
3, 4, 5,
3, 4, 5. Yeah,
but
correct.
PlayStation 2 had
anything, and you could build. Yeah, and. If you wanted to be bad, you could build your own gangs and have as many followers as you want.
Oh,
you could go to drive-bys.
Late in the game, you could get gangs and sick them on people.
Yeah, and you could tell them what to do. You could make them do drive-bys.
And then that reminds me of State of Emergency, the video game, which was also a Rockstar game.
And that's also on PS2.
Yep, and also on PS2. They didn't make that game again either.
See that? Yeah, that one was not remastered.
See, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was like Manhunt, Red Dead Redemption,
Rockstar.
State of Emergency, all put into one game.
San Andreas, San Andreas was that.
Yeah.
Except, the only reason I would disagree is with the Manhunt one. It was the most violent game of all time. That's the only reason.
They took away
But besides that, the violence was on another level. It's not even on the level today where we're seeing it. Maybe Jason, Friday the 13th, is the closest thing.
Is Sneak Attack on San Andreas?
Not that I recall. Nope. I don't think there is. And to me, the most violent video game of all time was probably Manhunt. Which is on the PS2. And it originated censored. On the PS2.
Part 2 got censored.
Did get censored. Part 2 got censored. Part 2 was strictly made for the PSP, though. And PlayStation Portable, that is, to you people. And that game was also amazing. That game was on another platform.
Manhunt.
Yeah, Manhunt
Runner,
Portable.
You completed and beat Manhunt.
Oh,
kill for kill.
Oh, man. That was a great game.
Ounce of blood for ounce of blood.
Very fun.
What can you tell the viewers is the reason that it is so awesome?
Satisfactory of, first off, when you beat a game, you're always satisfied. But when you beat a game like Manhunt and everybody's after you, everybody's trying to kill you, and you just, there's 40, 50 guys, and in each level, there's a lot of guys, and you start off with nothing, and you have to kill them and grab their weapons and use their weapons against them. The satisfaction level is off the charts. So the main reason is you get to kill people, first off, and then you get to grab their weapons, use their weapons against them, and use their plots that they had on you against them. So you switch the plots. It's a plot, that they had a certain thing that they were going to do to you. They're going to torture you this way and that way. And in the cutscenes, they explain exactly how they were going to torture you, and then you reverse it upon them. So it's like, it's not a revenge thing. It's more like they get what they deserve thing.
What are the comparisons between that and the Friday the 13th video game?
Oh, Friday the 13th is just straight violence. Friday the 13th is a whole different violence.
Game mechanics-wise.
Man, it's tough. It's tough. They were both...
What were the similarities?
Oh, the similarities. Oh,
what were the
similarities were the kills...
and Friday the 13th game.
The Manhunt?
Manhunt. I said Def Jam.
Manhunt, yeah, Def Jam could not.
Yeah, on All Real, what are the similarities between Manhunt and Friday the 13th, the video game?
So Manhunt was more of a, you're trying to survive, and they're after you. And Friday the 13th, you're after them. But when it came to a kill perspective, Jason has ones where you choke them from behind. Manhunt has ones where you choke them from behind. Jason has ones where you chop off their heads. Manhunt has one where you chop off their heads. So the similarities are there. The violence is very similar. The gore is very similar. But the gore had taken a step up. Like, if they would have made Manhunt in the same year they made Jason, Manhunt would have been so much more gory. So much more gory than Friday the 13th.
I think that's how they got away with this. The character designs were like little cartoon chubby dummy figures.
Yeah.
And so, like, seeing a stupid dummy figure get stabbed in the head with a screwdriver is like, haha, it looks like a pillow getting stabbed.
Yeah.
And I think that's how they got away with it, because if that game was made today, I mean, even The Last of Us isn't even that violent.
Mm-hmm.
Even Dying Light isn't that violent.
It's not. Not even as violent. You're saying that as Manhunt.
Maybe Dying Light. As Manhunt, you're killing zombies.
As Manhunt, I don't know. Well, Sniper.
Red Dead.
Sniper might be as violent.
Even Red Dead doesn't have kills like that, though.
I know. Red Dead it's true. It's true. Like, because this is hand-to-hand combat we're talking about. We're talking about up close and personal. Combat. We're talking about, like, choking somebody to death. That's psycho. Or hitting somebody with a hammer to death.
Yeah, and Red Dead's guns.
And guns. And Manhunt's hand-to-hand. And so is Jason. A little bit of
Jason's
it. But it's not always hand-to-hand.
You got an axe.
So you better axe somebody. But it is an axe. And you got to chop up these people. And you got to, it's very similar. And it's almost... Either way, it's the same, yet it's different. But at the same time, if they were to make that Rockstar Manhunt game the way they made Jason at the same time, Rockstar would have been much more crazy and much more violent.
So Manhunt Part 2 got
Manhunt takes more strategy as well.
Just like Kevin Hart and Michael Jackson.
No, it didn't. It did not get canceled.
However,
it did not get canceled.
They brought it to the PlayStation Pocket.
Portable. The portable, yeah.
And Runner beat it.
Almost. Yeah,
Just about.
I played a lot of it. Yeah,
Perhaps it wasn't as good, the story-wise.
But the violence, I mean, the
violence might have been better.
If you're looking for violence, then
but there's something that drew you into part 1.
Yeah, part 1
didn't draw you into part 2.
So that's why they pulled it. They shouldn't have pulled it though.
Because the story was weak. It was just more violence.
Yeah, the story was a little weaker.
Just about violence.
Because that story was insane. That videotape, I remember it was a videotape.
Yeah, that was on part 2?
The
weird VHS.
The weird VHS thing. I think it was, but it just didn't have the strength of the old VHS one. That the old VH1, yeah. It had strength, like it pulled you in. It dragged the viewer into the video game. And so that second one did not have that dragging into the video game as the first one did.
But they did have the VHS.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't those angles and that weirdness.
Yeah.
It was like
it wasn't as crazy.
A murder film.
Yeah, the other one was a murder film, and plus they plotted, and in Manhunt, like I was saying, they plotted, and they said, well, we're going to do to this guy, we're going to chop him in pieces.
Because it was a director, remember?
Yeah, it was a director, and the director was psycho.
I want you to do this. For this scene, man.
Yeah.
You got to go jump across this and kill everybody.
Yeah, he's all, you're not going to survive, ha ha ha, and he'd be laughing at you.
Yeah.
And then he'd be talking to you every time you get through a little, you know, to the next, what's it called, the save part, where you get a save, you get another videotape, and you get a save. That's what you got to save. You get a videotape, you collect it, you press save, boom, save, and then he'll be talking to you, haha, you got lucky, but you're not gonna pass this part.
All right,
just
everybody.
taunting you.
We can go on. We could have a whole episode about Manhunt.
And anyways,
Manhunt, the game. Go ahead and play it if you can find it.
Find it.
But remember, the second one was censored, not because it was too stupid, but because it had too much violence and it was too stupid.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
But the first one got away with it because it had a good story, and people like.
And the crazy thing is,
got into it.
Was it released before or after? See, this is the question: before or after San Andreas? I know it was after Vice City. It might have been before or after San Andreas. I'm not sure. Around the same time as San Andreas.
It was before San Andreas.
It might have been before San Andreas. So either way, this game, they're all classics. Rockstar is probably...
you can't sneak attack on San Andreas.
So what we're pretty much breaking it down to is Rockstar...
You can sneak into people's houses, though, in San Andreas.
You can. You can be a burglar as well.
The mechanic came from.
You can be a burglar in San Andreas.
Yeah. And I think in that scene, you do got to crouch, right?
Yeah. They have a crouch mode in San Andreas, but they don't have a sneak up and kill mode.
No,
they don't have that. That's what they do not have.
They're missing
They do not have that. If they had that, then it could possibly be
ever made
of all time. Yeah,
it'd be better than GoldenEye.
It'd be the best.
Oh, sorry.
Just
for that, we got to go to another commercial break. All right, everybody, we're going to go to commercial break. We're going to come back. We're going to end the show. We know we've gone a little too long, but hey, it's the new year. It's new you, new us.
New us.
If we want to have an hour-long show because it's interesting, well, then we are. And we're going to have a lot more guests coming through. And the next time we get a guest, guess what? We are going to ask him what his favorite PlayStation 2 game is.
Yeah.
And we're going to reflect and dwell on it. So stay tuned to the Runner Gunner Show.
Like and follow us. More coming up.
Whether you're a jabroni or whether you're a master, everybody, we just trying to have a good time. Trying to make some good entertainment, a smorgasbord of entertainment. It doesn't have to make sense. You know, it's an action flick. It's WWE wrestling. It's just greatness. As long as it's awesome, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be funny. It doesn't have to be cool. As long as it's awesome. The Runner and Gunner Show, everybody. We're here for you. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram. We got some more crazy stuff that will confuse you. You'll spend a whole lifetime trying to make sense of it. But the truth is that we are who we are because who we are.
Because
just as you are who you are because who you are. So everybody, this is a Monday morning show. Have yourself a Monday morning coffee because we know you can't have a Monday morning sip.
Caffeine.
Have yourself a Monday morning tequila in that coffee. And then have yourself a Monday morning. Be good this week. Make lots of money. Get lots of attention from the right people.
Yeah.
God bless you. We got a quick commercial break. Everybody. Runner and Gunner Show.
And we will be back after these.
Actually, we got a few more things we got to talk about before we go to a commercial break. And that is that Nikes are very comfortable.
And they are the shoe to do.
2 pairs because one for walking around and one for going out and looking cool.
Yeah.
Also, Snickers chocolate ice cream. Snickers in general.
Snickers or liquor?
Snickers.
Did you say liquor?
Also, the Runner and Gunner Show every Monday morning on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts.
All the time.
Google the Runner and Gunner Show.
Just Google us.
We are there. We are season 5. We are soon going on season 6. And we are also going to be talking about, when we come back, we're going to be talking about Uncle Joe Biden. We're going to be talking about the election in 2024. We're going to be talking about global warming. And we're going to be talking about guns in America. All this
and so much more. But after these commercial breaks. Break.
They said it wasn't humanly possible. All the power and excitement of Nintendo right in the palm of your hand. Introducing Game Boy. It's portable, it's in stereo, and its games are interchangeable. Game Boy comes complete with batteries and the outrageous new game Tetris. And for head-to-head competition, use Video Link and blow your opponent away. Game Boy, only from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power, portable power.
Do you want to play PlayStation 2?
Well, do you have the new Runner Gunner game?
Well, of course, you can even put your PlayStation 2 sideways if you want, because it's the coolest system since 2000.
But do you have the new Runner Gunner game?
PlayStation 2, it even has 4 ports so you can play 4 players.
4 Runner Gunners?
It even plays DVDs and Blu-rays, and it is a symphony of music and awesomeness.
Hey, is that 2 runners and 2 gunners?
Sony. Also, watch the Spider-Man video game.
Wow, sounds awesome. Oh. Yo, we're back. What is up, everybody? PS2, I thought you knew. How much do we love PS2? More than...
It's the top-selling video game of all cracks.
Oh, yeah. So, PS2 is good for your mind, your cracks, and yourself.
Cheers, Runner.
Cheers,
Let's have a good sip.
All right.
For PlayStation 2.
Sip to PS2. I'm down. There we go.
One more.
All right, one more. Cheers.
Cheers.
PlayStation 2. One more good one. It's PS2. Oh, yeah. Yeah, life is beautiful, everybody. So,
2.
I mean, 2 sips for PS2. PS2 was invented in early 2000 and 2001. But anyways, PS2 is something that if you haven't got into it ever in life, you better get into it now, because it's a thing that will help you realize where video games were and where they are. Video games were awesome and they still are awesome. You see what I mean?
Yeah, you know, I know that like they're working on technology right now.
Yeah.
And we're kind of in like an in-between section of video games.
Yes.
Where they're discovering new technology at the same time that they're producing the video games that belong to that new technology.
Exactly.
Which is a very hard thing to do, which is why I like Nintendo.
Stop. No more commercials. Come on, guys. All right, we won't say that. But what we will say is that when PS2 did come out, it was a whole revolutionizing the whole industry, because arcade had barely ended like 4 or 5 years before that. Yeah,
I know.
3 or 4.
Let's say 3 or 4.
PlayStation
2 came out.
3 or 4 years prior to that.
Arcade just barely ended.
And the reason why they had ended was because the PS2 revolutionized the way you play video games.
Yeah. And, you know, in all, like, truth and actuality, the video game arcade makers should have just started handling PlayStation 2 information
if they would
in their
have.
games. If you could pump a quarter and play Resident Evil 2 or, I don't know, whatever the Code Veronica.
Who wouldn't rather play that with the better graphics and you get your own handheld gun?
You know,
but I mean, not Code Veronica,
$5,000.
I'd say if you could get an old little gun.
They did have Code Veronica on arcade though.
Yeah,
but it was more like a shoot
like a Terminator 2 type of thing where they back and forth. But remember those ones where they had a booth and you would have to get into the booth and it would vibrate and take you on this whole nother ride.
Those
if
are
they
cool.
would have carried with those,
but
it might have been a whole different
even
industry.
to this day, there hasn't really been like a real story-driven arcade game.
Not
and
really.
Perhaps that's
not
the
really.
problem.
Not really.
Maybe that's why PlayStation 2 beat it all the way back then, because
strong storylines.
And I'm telling you, nowadays, maybe it wasn't the same back then, but nowadays, if you had an arcade that maybe cost $50 to beat, but you sat there and you pumped out quarters to invest in the story, and it was like a relatively easy game. Yeah, where you could sit there pumping out a story.
Like a long, just keep it going, and they have
like
the cutscenes.
PlayStation 2.
You got to watch the cutscenes.
You got to watch the cutscenes.
You can't cut it off.
Every time you beat a level, you get to watch a cutscene.
You can't.
It'd be a reward.
Yeah,
you can't cut it off.
And then they have the high scores for every single level, like they used to, and you can put your name.
Arcade game.
You can put BUT or ASS, like everybody used to.
Yeah,
of the 3 letters. Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool, actually.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, that would be cool. And they should have did that to revolutionize the arcade industry.
They should have.
But they didn't. They didn't. And that's sad. And then they just let
it's just gone
consoles like PS2 take over. And it's... Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't say it.
We weren't talking bad about PlayStation 2. We were just saying that arcades have fell wayside by the PlayStation 2. And the PlayStation 2... does not care about arcade games.
They don't. They're only involved. Well, because Sony really only
care.
They only invented their electronics far before video games. So what they were CD makers, CD players. They were not even involved in the whole Nintendo and Sega. Oh wait, they were part of. Oh look. Anyways, they weren't involved in any of that. They were just involved in electronics, is what I'm saying. They were electronics, and then they got involved in the video game industry.
All right,
everybody. Little bit during the end of the arcade era. That's what I was saying.
This is the part of the show where we tell you our favorite era.
Our favorite era
of the PlayStation 2.
All right, Gunner.
Uncle Gunner is going to have to say, although it's not particularly my favorite era from the PlayStation 2 is the Madden era. The Madden video games that came out for the PlayStation 2 were Uncle Gunner's favorite.
And I'm going to have to go with Runner is going to have to say the NBA Streets Volume 2 era was the greatest era. Besides, of course, I'm going to go GTA San Andreas.
Oh,
but
man.
GTA San Andreas.
Both those. You just cleared the whole 10 years of PlayStation with those two.
Those two were, kicking butt. So what we got to say, all right, we got to go, guys. This is the end of the show, but we just want to say that we want you to know PlayStation 2 did help revolutionize video games to where they are today. Because if it wasn't for PlayStation 2, things might have been a lot different, especially for
the top selling video game system of all time.
Thankfully, Rockstar did put in, and it is a top selling, but Rockstar had a lot to do with that top selling. Because if you look at their
there was no Rockstar
catalog,
video games for the Nintendo 64.
Or
the...
Dang it. All right. Well, no more.
My bad. One more. We got to take another commercial break. So let's wrap this up.
All right. We got to get ready to go.
PlayStation did revolutionize the video game industry.
They sure did.
It is still with us today. We don't know what the next 100 years holds to us, but we know that the last 100 years did not hold a PlayStation until 1996. Mm-hmm. And in 1999, they told us that a PlayStation 2 was coming out. And in 2001, that PlayStation 2 dropped.
It dropped hard, like a freaking
everything.
Asteroid.
All the video games we talked about.
Hitting the dinosaurs.
Def Jam, MLB, Crash Bandicoot. Just listen to the show again if you want to hear them all.
And of course, Party Like a Rockstar. That one hit the hardest, I think.
So we got to go, everybody.
Well, yeah, we got to go.
But before we go, we got the greatest part of the show that everybody loves the most. That we love to call the... 2-minute rundown! All right, we got a 2-minute rundown for everybody. It's February 2023,
sports.
and things are hitting off very quickly and very fast. But you can almost say it, it's explosive.
Explosion, because all of the playoffs are done in the NFL. Speculation surrounding Tom Brady. It's all about Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. So what is going on with Tom Brady, Gunner?
Does he have African-American children? Does he have Mexican children? Does he have more children than just Giselle? Well, we don't know, but he should have stayed retired last year so he could work on his relationships with his family.
And how many times did Giselle? Nobody knows. Anyway.
Nobody knows. At least 5.
But so the retirement speculations are going round and around and around like the globe on the earth. Every 24 hours it's spinning.
Is he retiring?
Is he going to retire? So
good.
the inside source that I got from my insider people say that he may not retire. He may not even return to the same team. His friends are saying, coming out to the public saying he might not retire. So the retirement is up there. It's a 50-50 situation.
So you're saying he's done with the Buccaneers and he's moving on and he's going to join the Raiders? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Whoa! I am not saying that, but it's a possibility.
Also, we got the NBA. The Lakers are doing their thing. If they lose one more game, they may be out of the playoffs. They are gone. They are gone. They are gone. The Lakers, we want them to win. We want the Golden Globes. I mean, the Golden State, whatever they're called. Stephen Curfew. Those guys. Stephen Curfew, Ken Thomas, Trace Thomas, whatever. Trace Thompson. We want Golden State to win because Stephen Curry is going to tie Kobe Bryant if he wins another championship with 5 championships, as well as Tim Curry. I mean, his friend, whatever his
Thomas Thompson. Yeah, Thomas Duncan Curry.
Trace Thompson's brother.
And
baseball season starting.
Baseball season is going to start soon, but NHL season is going right now, and we are announcing right here in season 5 that we are planning on going to a hockey game. We're not going to tell you where and when. Just keep into the Instagram. Keep in tune with that because we are going to announce it, and when it happens, we're going to go live with it. We're going to show you hockey game live and in person. Runner Gunner will be there.
Runner Gunner show.
And our teams will always win. The Super Bowl!
The Super Bowl is here, and Gunner picked correctly when he said that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to the Super Bowl. He said it a couple weeks ago. So if you're betting, if you're using your DraftKings according to what the Runner Gunner show says, then you would be half correct.
Went with the Gunner pick. If you went with the Runner pick, you already know that the Bengals beat the Buffalo Bills, and then the Chiefs beat the Bengals.
Mahomes versus It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And is it always sunny in Philadelphia? Well, we're about to find out in the Super Bowl 2023. I think
Arizona.
It's Super Bowl 50.
It's in Arizona. It's going to be awesome.
It's in Arizona, so wipe your feet, wear some extra socks, and if you got a big booty, then you might as well double up on your chonies.
I'll bring it on over. Anyways, women only, of course. Anyways, what we're talking about is the big Super Bowl, the sports, Tom Brady speculation, and of course, the Runner and Gunner special sports editions will be coming out soon. Season 6 is going to be a change. Change everything. The course of the whole show is going to change.
Get ready. It's changes.
And it's only going to get greater and better. So we want you guys to know, we want you to have a beautiful Monday morning. Please drive home safely. Be awesome. Be creative. Be lovable. And love the ones that are next to you. And if you're not with the one you love,
love the one you're with.
Have a happy Monday.
If you are with the one you love, well then keep on loving
that person. So everybody have a great Monday morning again, and just, take care of each other, love one another, and be peaceful.
If you can have a great Monday, then you can have a great life.
There you go. Turn that shit on.
And if you guys are joining us here right now, then you are joining the secret
super secret edition of the Runner Gunner Show. Monday morning cracks, baby. Let's go.
You have just earned yourself an achievement. Go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulder because you are now officially part of the Runner and Gunner Society.
The Runner and Gunner Society. Yeah. Wow. Hey, everybody. So, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about next week's show. And this is the super duper scooper. Not a pooper scooper, but just the scoop on what we're talking about next week, which is the Sega Mega episode. So what's going on, Gunner, with the Sega Mega episode next week? Let's tell him. Let him know.
Well, the Sega Mega episode is the episode where we talk about the Sega Genesis.
Oh, my Lord. What in the hell?
The Sega CD and the 32X in the Sega Saturn.
Yeah, we sure. Yes, we sure do. All right, we talk about exactly what he said. Can you repeat that?
Remember that game called Vector Man?
Viral Man?
You don't remember Vector Man?
Yeah, I do. The guy who stretches, right?
Do you remember Global Guts? The video game? Do you remember Moonwalker, the video game?
Oh, yeah. Wacky Jackal.
Yep.
Jackal Tackle.
Yes.
Jackal the Tackle box.
How about you tell us what your favorite secret Sega Genesis games are on our Instagram, The Runner and Gunner Show.
Lay us down with some secret Sega Genesis games. Because we'd like to know. And speaking of the next show, Sega Genesis is an awesome, it beats the NES, but it would compete with the SNES, the Super Nintendo was its competition. Sega Genesis was great. It would come combined with Sonic the Hedgehog, not for resale, that one. And so Sonic the Hedgehog, when it first came out, I think it was 1990 or maybe even 89, 91, around there. And it came out with that one, and it was awesome.
All right, everybody. This is the Secret Show.
Super duper.
And we're telling you that if you
show.
tune in next week, we're going to be talking about the PlayStation 2 once again. I know that we just kidded around with you and said we're going to talk about the Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
That is not the
We're going to
case.
be doing the PlayStation 2 episode part 2. So go ahead and watch it because we're going to be talking about so much more. Opinions. And we're going to be getting your lowdown. We perhaps might even go live. But for now, listen to this episode. Tell us what your favorite PlayStation 2 video game is and write it on the Instagram of the Runner and Gunner Show.
And let us know your opinions. As soon as you let us know your opinions, then we will respond to you. And if we don't respond to you, then your opinions are doo-doo. I'm just kidding. But we will respond to you as quickly as we can, and we'll get back to you because you are awesome. And if we are awesomer than you, then you know we're awesome. So we are. Anyways, superstars, stay super, just like you all know you are. We have to go now, and we just wanted to give you this quick bonus show at the end to let you know Sega Genesis is awesome. PS2 is the greatest system of cell-wise. Not of all time, but of cell-wise. Money, 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 money. It did make a lot of money. So everybody, you got to go out there, have a great Monday, have a great money day, and have a great freaking crack. Frickin' crack. Frickin' crack. Solid.
Runner and Gunner, not responsible for any injuries, postponements, or collateral that may occur during or post segments of our entirety of the show. You are now or have been listening to. We would like to add any involvement with similar subjects in the show are completely coincidental and may or may not be facts. We would also like to thank you, Lennox.